conservative new media viewers and JLin fans around the world. What's up? It's me, PFV, Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. We're here to talk about the 113-105 victory tonight by the Houston Rockets over the Dallas Mavericks in Game 2 of the 2013-2014 regular season. Now, this is the long video about the game. If you want to check out the short video, you just don't have time to watch this long video, then you can check that out on our page and our videos, or else I will put information about it in the video description below the video player, so you can go and check that out. That video is about 8.5 minutes long, much shorter than this one. Also, JDV did a video about the game as well, wearing the JLin hat that was given to him by the Jeremy-only Lin Garden fan club of Taiwan, which is great. These guys have been great to us, and John had a lot of fun, looks like, making that video. Okay, this game was a sloppy game. It started out great. It started out with Houston just on a run. They were in a good offensive rhythm, and it was an up-and-down game. But then after it became clear that Dallas wasn't able to stay with Houston in that type of a game, then Dallas coach Rick Carlisle slowed the game down, and he changed the defensive scheme for Dallas from a man-to-man scheme, which is typical NBA defense, to a zone defense. A zone defense means that when you as a defender protect a certain area of the court, in the half court, you don't guard your man, you guard an area. And what zone defense typically does is it makes it harder to drive the basketball towards the basket. And it makes you end up having to shoot jump shots. And Houston wasn't shooting that well tonight. And they were turning the ball over a lot. So the strategy worked for Dallas. And it helped get them back into the game. The other thing that they did was they did what is known as hack a Dwight. Now, that just means that you foul Dwight Howard and force him to shoot free throws because he's not a good free throw shooter. So every time Houston got the ball at a certain time in the game, Dallas would simply foul Dwight Howard and have him shoot 2 free throws rather than let Houston run their offense. This technique has been used on many players in the past. It's been used on Omer Asik. It's been used famously on Shaquille O'Neal. It can be used on any player who's not a good free throw shooter. So basically, Dallas did every possible thing they could to really slow down this game and make it an ugly game. But it worked. But then later on in the game, Houston was able to pull away. So Houston's going to see a lot of this type of thing this year, and they're going to have to work on it. They did not look ready to play against the zone defense tonight, and so they're going to need to work against that scheme more in practice, and I'm sure they will. And honestly, the best way to beat a zone defense is to shoot the ball well, and Houston just didn't shoot that well tonight. If they were shooting better, it wouldn't have worked at all. Jeremy was good in this game, but it wasn't his best game that he's ever played. However, he stayed aggressive in the game. He kept his mind in the game well. And although he had a number of turnovers, he made up for that with steals and with awesome defense, which we will talk about more in a few moments. Aaron Brooks was backing up Jeremy tonight because, of course, Patrick Beverley is out with a rib injury or a abdominal muscle injury, something in that midsection area. And so Aaron Brooks had to play behind Jeremy, with Jeremy getting the start. And he played well, very well coming off the bench. And we've talked before, we talked in the summer about why the team has so many point guards. Well, tonight you saw why they have them. They need them. If you're a serious championship team or a serious title contending team, you don't want an injury to mess up your whole season. And so with the injury to Patrick, it's really good that the team has Aaron Brooks around for just this type of situation. Omri Caspi hurt his ankle in this game. He twisted his ankle, I think, in the third or fourth quarter. I don't know how serious that is. Hopefully he won't be out long, if at all. Ankle sprains, sometimes you can hurt your ankle really badly in a game, then you're fine the next day. Sometimes you can hurt your ankle not much, and then it swells up overnight, and you're out for 2 weeks. We have to see how it works out for Omri. Hopefully he won't be out long if he's out at all. With Patrick out, the team can't afford to lose many more guys. James Harden carried the team at times during this game. He played great tonight, and this is what he's capable of. This is why he's almost certainly one of the top 10 players in the league. And it was great to watch. The twin towers of Dwight Howard and Omer Asik were strong again in rebounding. This was the second game in a row that the team had 50 or more rebounds. That's a large number. That is great, and it really, really helps in all areas. It helps you get more shots on offense because you get offensive rebounds, and it helps limit the opponent to one shot on their offense because they're not getting offensive rebounds. So that is very, very good to see. Finally, before I get to some stats, the game got close at the end of the game. Kevin McHale pulled the starters with about 4 minutes left in the game, and Houston was up 17. And then Jay Crowder of the Mavericks started hitting threes from everywhere, and the lead got down to about 5 points. It was like, oh boy, but it was okay. The team held on and got the victory. Okay, let's go over some statistics quickly. Jeremy finished the game with 14 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists. He played 30 minutes, shot 4 of 9 from the field, including 0 of 3 from three-point range, 6 of 7 from the free throw line, 3 steals, no block shots, 6 turnovers, 1 personal foul. His plus minus was plus 14, and his efficiency number was 12. Aaron Brooks, backing up Jeremy, had 13 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists in 23 minutes. Aaron shot 3 of 8 from the field, including 2 of 5 from three-point range. Aaron's efficiency was 11, and his plus minus was minus 12. Dwight Howard, 13 points, 16 boards. James Harden, 34 points. Jose Calderon, the starting point guard for the Dallas Mavericks, had 0 points, 1 rebound, 6 assists. He played 25 minutes, shot 0 of 8 from the field. His plus minus was minus 5, and his efficiency number was minus 1. Gal Meckel, I believe his first name is Gal, he's the backup point guard for Dallas, 11 points, 6 assists. His efficiency number was 15. So he had the highest efficiency number of any point guard in this game. Okay, let's turn and talk about Jeremy specifically. Jeremy played well in this game except for the turnovers. The good thing about the turnovers, though, was that they didn't lead to points by Dallas. A lot of times you get turnovers, they lead directly to points for the other team. Well, a good way into this game, maybe through the third quarter, Houston had a whole bunch of turnovers. Like 15, 17 turnovers, but Dallas only had like 6 points off of them. So the good thing for Jeremy is that his turnovers didn't lead to Dallas points almost ever. Now, they also didn't lead to Houston points because if you turn the ball over, you're not getting a shot. But at least it was somewhat minimized tonight, the damage from his turnovers. So that was good to see. However, Jeremy has to improve on this. He must get better at this. What happened in this game, there's a couple of different things that happened. But one thing that happened, and I was afraid that this was going to happen, was that I thought now that Jeremy's starting again, he might try to do too much. And he did try to do too much a number of times in this game. Whereas when he was coming off the bench, was trying to get more minutes and impress the coaching staff in the last 2 games against Memphis in the preseason and against Charlotte in the season opener. He played much more under control. Well, tonight he kind of let it all hang out a little bit more, and he did it a little too much. And he has to control this. This is the one area of his game that he really has to get under control. Now, a couple of the turnovers weren't bad at all. They weren't. And some of the turnovers came because he was pushing the pace. If you play at a fast pace, you're going to get more turnovers. It's just the way it is. However, he still needs to get better at this, which means he just needs to pull it back. Pull it back. This was the Mikhail comment last year about 29 points and 9 turnovers. There's truth to that. And the more Jeremy can play a little bit more under control, the better he's going to be and the more playing time he's going to get on this team. So he does want to do that. And it's the 3 things that Jeremy has to work on or has had to work on the most. Well, among other things. Turnovers, hitting 3-pointers, and his defense. He didn't shoot well tonight from 3, but that's okay. Some nights you're just not going to hit shots. That's just the way it is. We know Jeremy's 3-point shot is better now, so I'm not worried about that. His defense was excellent, which I'll talk about in a second. So then it just comes down to the turnovers. Jeremy he has to work on not trying to force things too much. Now, he wasn't the only one on the team doing it. A whole bunch of people had silly turnovers tonight. And some of it is because they're trying to play at a quick pace. But this is the thing he's got to work at. This is the thing that limits him a lot. And he does want to work on it more. He does want to work on it more. Okay, as I said, Jeremy's defense was amazing in this game. He was all over Jose Calderon. I mentioned in the short video that during the preseason, Jose Calderon had a big outing against Jeremy. Like in the first, I don't know what it was, the first 5 minutes of the game in that those 2 teams played. Jose Calderon had 8 points or 11 points. I mean, he just lit Jeremy up. Tonight, Jeremy was focused right from the get-go that wasn't going to happen again. And he really got into Jose Calderon. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that every single miss that Jose Calderon had was because of Jeremy. Sometimes guys just miss, but most of it was because of Jeremy. He was on him and really stuck with him and did a great job. And this is how you earn playing time. Okay, you have 6 turnovers. You're not hitting 3-pointers. Well, but you shut your guy down. you outplayed your man, which Jeremy clearly did. That's how you do it. Coach McHale said something in an interview over the summer. Said something like, Jeremy's got to learn how to play when he doesn't have his A game, meaning when he's not in his best mode. You know, instead of being an A-level game, maybe it's a C-level game on offense. Well, the way you do that is by playing defense and by making things happen. That's what Jeremy did tonight. And this is clearly improvement for him. He knew his shot wasn't on. His three-point shot wasn't on. He knew he had the turnovers, most of them being in the first half. So what did he do? He turned up his defense. He got some great steals in this game, great steals that led to easy Houston points, and he was all over Jose Calderon and wouldn't let him do anything. And it was awesome. It was great. Jeremy did push the pace tonight in a good way. He forced the team to get into the tempo that they want to be in when things were slowing down. That was a reason for a couple of the turnovers, but it wasn't the reason for all of them. So like I said, make no mistake about it, Jeremy has to keep improving the turnovers. He must keep improving that, or he's not going to get as much playing time anywhere he plays. And he will get better at it. It's just a thing of a lot of times for young players, young point guards, or inexperienced point guards, they try to do too much. And Jeremy, when he's a little out of control, that's what he does, which is, again, a very typical thing. Jeremy's getting much better now at drawing fouls, meaning when he's driving to the basket or setting up to try to score, or even just dribbling around the perimeter, he's good at drawing fouls now. He did very well at that tonight. That's how he ended up with 7 free throws. Dallas got into the penalty early in the third quarter. That means that they had 5 fouls in the quarter, and after you get 5 fouls on your team in a quarter, the other team automatically shoots free throws every time there's a foul, even if they're not in the act of shooting. When that happened, Jeremy started drawing fouls on Dallas. He knew it. He knew they were in trouble, and he would just kind of start driving to the basket and, get a guy to hit him, basically. And so he's much better at that now, and he's better at doing it without taking a ton of punishment. Last year, as you know, he wasn't as good at drawing fouls, and when he did draw them, he was getting crushed. Now he's getting better at that. That is more improvement. This was somewhat of a difficult game for Jeremy, but he fought through it, and the team won. And so you learn from it. It's great when you can learn and struggle, but you still win. That's a really good thing to have happen, and that's what happened for Jeremy and the team tonight. As I mentioned, Jeremy is improving. Every single game, you can see something else he's improved. We can see more improvement in something. Again, we never even talk about his ball handling anymore. It's just not an issue anymore. And he easily can drive to his left now. So those things are like, they can get better, and they need to get better, but they're so much better than what they used to be. It's like, again, we don't even discuss it anymore. What he did tonight, well, aggressive defense, good defense, got in the passing lanes and got steals. Passing lane just means we're a team, like the angles and the avenues which they're going to pass. And so when you're a defender, you can see how the passes are going to go. You anticipate it, and you intercept the pass. But the way that the passes go, the angles and the lines that they travel are called the passing lanes. And again, the drawing fouls. So even though this wasn't a great night for Jeremy in a lot of ways, you still can see how he's improved. And I'll say this, just overall, mentally, he's improved. He wasn't down on himself. He didn't get all caught up with not playing well or turning the ball over. He kept pushing. He kept pushing instead of getting down on himself or letting his level fall. When you can't do one thing or you're not doing one thing well, do other things well. And that's what he did. And that's just part of being a professional athlete. You will have games where you struggle with certain things. Just try to do other things well when that happens. And that's what Jeremy did. Remember, too, Jeremy was playing in this game with a tweaked ankle. He hurt his ankle in the Charlotte game, and he missed half of the practice yesterday. And he had that hole, he had the stitches in his chin. So he was a little banged up, but he still got it done. And I said, it's going to take a few years for him to put it all together. It's going to take time. As he said the other day after practice, I think it was, or in the shoot-around. Shoot-around is in the event that takes place the day of the game. So if the game's at like 8 p.m., then your team might have a shoot-around at like noon. It just kind of, you get up some shots, you talk about strategy a little bit, just kind of get everybody going for the night. Well, after the shoot-around, I think Jeremy was saying, look, I didn't even know what I had to improve until this past summer because I hadn't played much. So I didn't know what to improve on. Well, so he's only now beginning the process of improving. And it will take a few years, but he's improving. It's clearly happening. So it's great to see. And I expect that process to continue. He will continue to improve, and it'll get better and better and better. Okay, let's go to quarter by quarter. The starting lineup for tonight was Jeremy, James Harden, Chandler Parsons, Dwight Howard at the power forward spot, and Omer Asik. So the Twin Towers lineup. Now, before this game began, Mark Cuban was talking trash about Dwight Howard. I think he started talking yesterday, basically saying that Dwight Howard made a mistake in signing with Houston rather than signing with the Dallas Mavericks, who, of course, is the team that Mark Cuban owns. Once again, Patrick Beverley was out for this game because of the rib injury that he sustained during the Charlotte game. And James Harden was playing with a sore back and a sore wrist. Again, Jeremy was playing with a sore ankle and the stitches and bandage on his chin from a elbow I think he received from Ramon Sessions in the Charlotte game. It was also Jeremy's first start since Patrick Beverley was named the starter before the beginning of this regular season. Jeremy got a turnover early in the game. He got a double dribble, which is you dribble the ball, then you stop dribbling, then you start dribbling again after you stopped dribbling. You can't do that. That's a violation. I didn't see it. I just caught the very end of it. I don't know why it happened. Usually when a player gets that type of a violation, like something happened. Maybe they were expecting to pass the ball and then a guy they wanted to pass to wasn't looking. I didn't see it, so I can't tell you exactly what happened. Then Jeremy had a nice play where he basically caught the ball in transition and was going against two players from Dallas, one of them being Jose Calderon, and he just drove right through both of them, right to the front of the rim for a layup, right past Jose Calderon. Then Jeremy had He forced the shot a little bit. He was on the left side of the basket, down near the paint, and he shot the ball off of the backboard. He got a little bit hung up on his drive, meaning he was kind of a little bit, he drove and then he had to stop, as we've seen before. He'll stop and then he'll do that little pivot move and stuff. And it wasn't a bad shot, but it's a shot he didn't need to take. And this is what I'm kind of trying to say, like with the turnovers. He was trying to do a little bit too much tonight. I think, again, he felt like he's a starter. He needs to make some things happen. And it's not a bad mentality to have, but don't force things. Play under control. Play more restrained. Not because you shouldn't shoot or any of this stuff. No. Don't do things that you don't have to do. Don't take tough shots. Don't try to make passes that aren't there, because that's how you accumulate misses and turnovers. Then Jeremy had a nice pass to Omri Caspi in the right corner for a three-point shot. Soon after that, I believe Jeremy got a rebound, although I am not certain about that. Then Jeremy had a nice assist to James Harden for a kind of half layup, half shot. And after that play, Dallas was forced to take a timeout as Houston led 12-6 with 8:17 left in the first. So, as I mentioned before, Houston got off to a hot start in this game. They got off to a good start, and they were running. This was before Dallas started slowing the game down. Of note also in this game, this is the first time, I believe, in NBA history, two players who were born in the nation of Israel played against each other. Omri Caspi for the Houston Rockets and Gal Meckel for the Dallas Mavericks. So that was a pretty cool fact that occurred in this game. Our friend Clyde Drexler was not calling this game. They mentioned why that was, but I missed the explanation. I just know that they said he wasn't calling the game. So based upon how we felt about Clyde's remarks regarding Jeremy in the last game, that I was okay with that tonight. Middle of the first, Jeremy had a steal, passed it to Chandler Parsons, who then dished it to James Harden for a layup. This was a terrific play. It put Houston up 16-8. I don't remember exactly what the time was left, but you will see this in the highlights for sure. Jeremy dove for the ball, stole it, then dove on the floor, grabbed the ball, and basically made the pass to Chandler while he was sitting on the floor of the court. It was just a terrific play, and Jeremy was hustling hard early in this game. He was definitely putting the effort in. It was great to see. He was hustling loose balls. He was hustling on defense. Soon after that play, Jeremy forced Jose Calderon to miss a jump shot, which would be the theme for the night for Jose Calderon. After that, Jeremy missed a jumper from three-point range from about 35 degrees right of the top of the arc. So, again, his shot wasn't on tonight. That's going to happen. Then, middle of the first as well, Jeremy got hung up on his drive, meaning he stopped dribbling and he did the pivot move, and then he got a turnover to Dwight Howard, who was running in behind the play as a trailer. That's what that's called. And I don't think it was a bad pass, but Dwight wasn't able to handle it, and it turned into a turnover. Then I wrote in all capitals to myself, slow the blank down, meaning Jeremy, slow down. No, you want to push the pace, but don't get ahead of yourself. This is where Jeremy gets into the most trouble for himself. McHale and the team wants him to push the pace. And he was pushing the pace and making things happen. But don't play faster than what you're capable of playing. Meaning, if you play at 100 miles an hour, but that means a whole bunch of turnovers, then play at 90 miles an hour instead. And so, again, I was concerned about this going into this game. I was concerned that Jeremy might do this, and he did do it a little bit. Again, I'm not going to kill him for it. I'm not going to just go off on him, but keep working on this. Keep working on this. It will definitely help him to improve, and he'll get there. He'll get there. After that turnover, I think immediately after, Jeremy drew a charge on DeJuan Blair of the Mavericks. So again, Jeremy kept his head in the game. When he made a turnover, then he'll come back with a strong play on defense. Actually, it wasn't a charge. It was a loose ball foul. I think they were going for the ball, and Jeremy got position on Blair, and Blair basically pushed him out of the way, I believe. Gal Meckel, then in the middle of the first, was able to score against Jeremy. Gal had a great game. He really played a nice game in this game, so you got to give it to him. He didn't do a whole bunch against Jeremy, but he got a couple scores on him. He played a good game. At 20-12 of a score for Houston, and advantage Houston, Aaron Brooks came in for Jeremy. I don't have the exact time here. I think it was about 4 minutes and 13 seconds left in the first. Aaron Brooks then hit a 3-point basket, which was nice. That forced Dallas to take a timeout. It was 25-12. Then Houston up. They were up by 13 with 3 minutes and 52 seconds left. Then Aaron Brooks had a nice couple of passes. So he was playing great. He played great right off the bat. He came in and just was doing really well, and we're happy to see that. Jeremy came back into the game with 53 seconds left in the first quarter, and Houston was up 33-20 at that time. Then I wrote that Jeremy got hung up on another drive. Again, getting hung up on a drive, meaning you dribble into a spot where you don't have anywhere to go, and then you stop dribbling. This is definitely an issue for Jeremy. It's something that happens to him a lot. You either don't want to be too aggressive with your drives, or else don't pick up your dribble. If you drive into a spot that's not a good spot to be in, keep dribbling and get out of there. And again, Jeremy will get better at this, but it is something he needs to continue to work on. At the end of the first quarter, Houston was up 38-22. They were blowing Dallas off the court, basically. Dallas just could not compete in this type of up-and-down game that Houston was playing. Jeremy had 2 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists. His efficiency number was 2. His plus-minus was +11, and he already had 2 turnovers. Aaron Brooks, at this point in the game, already had 6 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists. Okay. Starting in the second quarter, Jeremy was on the court still with Aaron Brooks, which was what the alignment was at the end of the first quarter, with James Harden going to the bench, Jeremy playing shooting guard spot, Aaron Brooks playing the point guard spot. Early in the second, Jeremy really did a great job on help defense. So he went to go and help another man defending their guy, and he helped make that player miss the shot. I don't remember who it was. Then Jeremy got another layup in transition. Just great, using his speed, get out, burst ahead of guys because he's so fast. That worked really well. That put Houston up 40-24. Then Jeremy had his third turnover. I did not see it. It was a hook pass, kind of like almost like a hook shot, but he went to do a hook pass. I didn't see it. And then soon after that, he got his fourth turnover. It was, I think Jeremy was driving to the basket and the ball went off of his leg. So some of this was just he's playing quick. He's trying to make things happen. He's trying to push the pace because it was working for Houston. But again, don't play faster than you can be successful at. Slow down a little bit. Then Jeremy missed another three-pointer from 35 degrees right of the top of the arc, about where he missed the other one, I believe. After that, Gal Meckel scored again on Jeremy. So again, Gal did have a nice game. Got a couple hoops on Jeremy. Then Jeremy scored an and one on a reverse. So he started at the right hand, I think kind of at the top of the key, top of that rectangle paint area, drove down underneath the basket and did a reverse. We've seen Jeremy do this a number of different times this season and in preseason. This came off of a pick and roll play, and then he made the free throw, and that made the score 45-29 for Houston. So again, they were just dominating at this period of the game, and Dallas couldn't deal with it. Dallas just was not able to do anything against it. So it was very good to see at this point in the game, although it was not going to continue in this mode for a whole bunch longer. Then Jeremy had a pass to Omer, who fumbled the ball out of bounds. That might have been a turnover to Jeremy. I'm not sure at that point in time. Actually, I take it. It was not a turnover from Jeremy. I was concerned it might have been called that, but it was not. Then Jeremy got another steal and passed it ahead to Chandler, who was fouled in transition, which I think led to free throws. Then one of the best plays, maybe Jeremy's, well, I don't know if it was his best play. It was a great play. The Rockets were on a fast break, maybe a 3-on-1 or a 3-on-2, meaning that Houston had three players running on the break, and Dallas had either one guy back or two guys back. James Harden was dribbling with the ball in the middle of the court. Jeremy was running on his right-hand side. James passed the ball to Jeremy, and Jeremy did a sweet reverse. He scooped right under the basket and laid it up on the left-hand side of the basket in a reverse fashion. You will definitely see that play in the highlights. That was a phenomenal play. Great pass by James. Terrific play. That made the score 53-31 for Houston. Timeout Dallas, and that came with 5 minutes and 53 seconds left in the half. Again, and at this point, Jeremy already had 9 points. Dallas simply couldn't play this type of game with the Rockets. If they would have played the game like this the whole game, they would have lost by 40 points. And credit to them and their coaching staff, they realized that. And so in the second half, it became a totally different story. But at this point in time, Houston was they were running them out of the gym. And Jeremy had a big part of that, because he was pushing the pace. Then Jeremy got his fifth turnover late. I believe it was late no, I take that back. It was still middle of the second. Jeremy had a nice little fake, and then he went for a drive. Like he kind of faked his man, then went to put the ball down to dribble it to go for a layup. He had a wide open lane, actually, but someone poked the ball away from him right as he was about to start his drive. So it was a really, really nice play by the Dallas defense. I can't remember who did it, but it was a terrific play. Then at this point in the game, I think after that timeout, after Jeremy's reverse layup, Dallas switched into the zone defense. So they knew that they needed to change things up, and they had done that. They started to do it, and it started to pay off. Aaron Brooks came back in for Jeremy with 3 minutes and 58 seconds left in the half. And at that point, Houston was up by 18 points. But things were going to change. As I said, things are going to change. And by the time it was halftime, that lead had been cut down to just 11 points. So when Jeremy went out, they were up 18. And by the time the halftime came around, 7 points had been cut off of that lead. At the half, Jeremy had 9 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. He had 5 of his 6 turnovers already. So the second half was much, much better for him. A lot of this came playing the fast style, and you will get some turnovers in that style. And the coaching staff knows that. So we're not going to go crazy on Jeremy, but he can still do better than what he did. So he wants to keep working on that. Aaron Brooks at the half, 8 points. Jose Calderon, 0 points, which would be what he ended up for in the game. Gal Meckel, 6 points. Moving on to the third quarter, Jeremy started the quarter, I believe, with the same lineup that began the game. Then, early in the third quarter, Jeremy had his 6th and final turnover of the game. He drove into the paint, attempted to pass the ball back out to the left corner to James Harden, I think it was, but Dallas anticipated the pass and was able to get the turnover on that thing. Now, at that point in the game, even with Jeremy's 6 turnovers, Dallas had only scored 6 points off of all of the Houston turnovers. So again, Jeremy's turnovers did not lead to many Dallas points. So if you're going to have a lot of turnovers, it's good if they don't lead directly to the opponent's points. And they didn't for Jeremy. So that's a little bit of a saving grace even with his turnovers. Soon after that play, Jeremy had his 3rd steal of the game. And so again, he was making up for his negative plays with positive plays. And that was very, very good. On the steal, right after the steal, he passed it ahead, I believe, to James Harden, who was fouled going in for a layup. Then Dallas was still playing the zone defense, as we talked about, what they had switched into near the end of the first half. Jeremy missed his 3rd three-pointer of the game. He was on the about 30 degrees left of the top of the arc. It was an open shot, and he just missed it. The entire team was now out of sync. Dallas, going into their zone defense, had really messed up the rhythm of the Rockets, and it was working for Dallas. They were getting back into this game more and more and more. Soon after this, Jeremy had a blown assist to Chandler Parsons, who missed a three-pointer. Then made the note that Jeremy was pushing the pace, but the team was not able to score. So Jeremy was doing what he did in the first half, but the change up in the defensive tactics had really worked for Dallas. Then Jeremy was driving to the basket, and he was fouled by Monte Ellis. It was a tripping foul. He tripped him with his foot. It was not a free throw situation for Jeremy. After this, Dallas had cut the lead down to 9 points, so they were all the way pretty much back in the game at this point. Jeremy then forced a terrible shot by Jose Calderon, so the excellent defense by Jeremy continued, and he was able to get a really bad miss by Jose Calderon. Jeremy drove to the basket, appeared to have been fouled, but he did not get the call. That put his shooting from the field at 4 for 9, which I believe is what it would remain for the rest of the game, although Jeremy was going to score more points. Jeremy got a rebound in the middle of the third quarter. Then I put that Jeremy's doing a great job on Jose Calderon. He's just all over him, which is exactly what was going on. Then in the middle of the third, Dallas started going to the Hack-a-Howard strategy. They were fouling Dwight intentionally, making him shoot free throws, and it was working well because Dwight at this point in the game was missing his free throw attempts. Then I said that in my note that Dallas was slowing down the game, and it was an ugly game now, and it was really, really just a deliberate pace. Very, very slow, but it was working. Dallas was slowly climbing back into the game. Middle of the third, Jeremy was fouled on a rebound attempt. He went up to get a rebound and was fouled by Sean Marion. Because Dallas was in the penalty, this led to 2 free throws. Jeremy made both of them, so he was up to 11 points. Dallas continued doing the Hack-a-Howard strategy, and Dwight continued to miss at this point. Then Jeremy drove down the middle of the lane perfectly, just drove right in the middle of the defense, and then kicked the ball back out to James Harden right at the top of the circle, three-point land, and Harden drilled the shot to make the score 73-60 with 5 minutes left in the third quarter, and it forced Dallas to call a timeout. So Jeremy kept moving, kept going. Good defensive intensity, and he kept pushing the pace, and it really worked on that play. And again, this was all of his turnovers were finished at this point. He was done turning the ball over early in the third quarter, and the rest of the time would be turnover free. Late in the third, made another note that Jeremy was all over Jose Calderon again. Just couldn't get anything done. Jose shot a three-pointer, just a complete brick with Jeremy right up on him, and at that point, that was, I think, the final field goal attempt Jose Calderon would take, and he was 0 for 8. I believe at that point, probably Gal Meckel came in for him because Dallas coach Rick Carlisle knew that he couldn't do anything against Jeremy in this game, just nothing at all. It was great to watch. With at the score 76-68 Houston. Late in the third, Aaron Brooks came in for Jeremy. And we went at the end of the third. That lead got pushed up to 13 points, 85-72 for Houston. Through 3 quarters, Jeremy had 11 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. He also had 3 steals, 6 turnovers. Plus minus was plus 10. His efficiency was 9. Jeremy started the fourth quarter on the bench. Aaron Brooks was still in the game. Jeremy came into the game with the score 91-78 for Houston, and there was 9 minutes and 10 seconds left in the game. Jeremy came in, and Aaron Brooks was still in also. So Jeremy at this point was playing shooting guard with Aaron Brooks at point guard. Soon after Jeremy came in the game, Dwight Howard turned the ball over, and that gave Houston 20 turnovers for the game, which is a lot. Monte Ellis, after that, got a nice move on Jeremy. After Jeremy almost stole the ball from him, but then Monte Ellis was able to score against Jeremy. Monte Ellis is an excellent scorer, and he's very, very quick. He's hard for anybody to guard, including Jeremy. Middle of the fourth, Jeremy almost had another turnover, but he did not. And then he went to help on defense against Samuel Dalembert, who was the center for Dallas, and Jeremy fouled D'Alembert, and D'Alembert scored a basket and got a free throw. Then Jeremy was going against Gal Meckel, who was in the game for Jose Calderon. He drew a foul. I can't remember who the foul was against, but it was not a free throw shooting foul, but he continued to push the pace. He was still pushing the pace, still being aggressive, and it was definitely helping Dallas to keep the lead and extend the lead. Then Jeremy, in the middle of the fourth, drove to the rim, drew another foul, 2 free throws, made both of them. Then he played excellent help defense and forced a Dallas miss. Then he drove hard in transition, drove to the rim in transition, drew a foul, got 2 free throws, and made 1 out of 2. And that's when I made a note that said Jeremy can draw fouls at will in these types of situations, meaning when he has a chance in transition, or the other team's playing really tight defense, he's now able to draw fouls against the other team very easily. And he wasn't good at this last year. He really wasn't. So it just is something else he has improved on tremendously, and it is something that will help him score a whole bunch more points. And it will also help the team because when you need free throws, Jeremy's going to be able to draw them pretty easily. And you've got 2 guys like that, him and James Harden. So that's a good thing, particularly when you have guys on the team that aren't good free throw shooters like Dwight Howard or Omer Asik. You need guys that can draw fouls and are good free throw shooters like James Harden and like Jeremy. Then Jeremy, late in the fourth, drove hard to the basket and then dished it to Chandler Parsons for a layup. Excellent play. That made the score 104-87 with 3 minutes and 58 seconds left in the game. That was basically the end of the game where it should have been. Houston was up by 17 points. Coach McHale pulled his starters. Coach Carlisle of Dallas pulled his starters. But then Dallas made a run because Jay Crowder started hitting all kinds of three-pointers. And the lead, I think, got down to 5 points. So it looked like, this might not have worked too really well. Houston had a game like this last year. I can't remember who they were playing. It might have actually been Dallas. It was either Dallas or Indiana, if I remember correctly. And it was a similar situation where McHale had pulled the starters because it looked like the game was over, but then the other team came back very hard and fast. Fortunately, Houston was able to hang on for the win there, and they were able to hang on the win tonight as well with the final score 113-105. Okay, the summary here is this was not Jeremy's best offensive game because of the turnovers, but most of them occurred in the first half. He was much more settled down in the second half, and he made up with it with the 3 steals and with great defense, excellent hustle, and by pushing the pace. When you play at a fast pace like he was doing tonight, you will turn the ball over. However, he can do better with the turnovers, so it is something he needs to keep working on. The team showed that they could win against a determined opponent who was willing to slow the game down and make the game ugly. Foul a lot, hack a Dwight, zone defense, everything. Even with all of that, Houston still won by double digits. They should have won by double digits except for the little run that Dallas went on when the game was already over. And Patrick was out of this game, and Omri Caspi got hurt, I believe, in the third quarter. It just shows you how good Houston is. Houston is very, very good. They're a terrific team, and they're only going to get better. Dallas is not a great team, but they're a very good team, and they played hard tonight. Very hard. So again, it just shows you how strong the Rockets really are. As I mentioned earlier, Jeremy stayed calm in this game. Even though he didn't play perfectly and he did have the turnovers, he kept his head in the game and made up for his mistakes. He didn't let the turnovers make him become passive, and that's really good to see. James Harden came through in this game, played terrifically. He really did. And Aaron Brooks also played well in this game, and Houston needed that, and that is good to see. The team is for real. This team is going to be extremely good. It's still going to take a while. That's what's incredible about this. They still have a long ways to go to get to full effect. There's still a long way that they're going to be able to improve, but they're already really good. And they're going to be an outstanding team if they maintain relatively decent health and they just continue to gel in terms of chemistry, which I'm sure will be the case. This team is going to be a powerhouse, and it's going to be awesome to see. Okay, it is 1:30 a.m. here on the East Coast of the United States, early on Saturday, November 2nd, 2013, which means it is 1:30 p.m. on Saturday, November 2nd in Taipei, Taiwan. Also, it is 6:30 a.m. in Central Europe. Now, I put this out on Twitter earlier today. I went back and reviewed the footage from the game against Charlotte, and I believe that Patrick Beverley hurt himself with about 8 minutes and 55 seconds left in the second quarter. I didn't see anybody hit Patrick or cause an injury when it happened, which means Patrick might have just twisted wrong or just had some bad luck on turning or something. And you can see when it happened, Patrick had his hand on his stomach and was kind of motioning to the bench. I mean, he knew he heard it. So I think that's when it took place. I know a lot of people weren't sure when it happened, but it appeared to have taken place with about 8 minutes and 55 seconds left in the second quarter against Charlotte. Again, we thank Gary Chen of Jeremy Only Lynn Garden Fan Club for the artwork you are looking at right now. We really appreciate it. Thanks again to Gary and to all of Lynn Garden. You can find their stuff. They're on Twitter. They're on Facebook. They're great. And they're based out of Taiwan, although I believe there's a number of members that are in the United States. And again, thanks very much for all you've done for us. You can check out the short video that's already up. Check out JDV's video as well. Those are on the channel right now. We want to thank JeremyLin.net again. I sent them out a tweet earlier today. They've been great to us as well. I know they even have a section where they put up our videos, which I didn't even know that until today. We really appreciate that. I'm happy to promote them because they've done a great job. They do a great job. They're one of the probably the best and biggest Jeremy Lin fan site out there. And they're well known and they're doing awesome. So thanks again for your kindness towards us and keep up the good work. I also want to mention the Jeremy Lintel blog, Jeremy Lintelligence / Jeremy Lintel with our friend Andy. Now, Andy did a video earlier today on YouTube talking about the starting point guard situation and the logic behind it in terms of how, now that Patrick's hurt and Jeremy's starting, and just kind of going over the whole situation and does it make sense, does it not make sense logically. So you guys can check that out. Also, just check out his blog. We really appreciate the work that Andy is doing over at Jeremy Lintel. I also want to mention the people that make the highlight videos. Blyon, Will SC, who just started doing highlight videos, I believe. There's a number of other people. These guys do great work, and we definitely appreciate the work that they do. They help Jeremy's fans all over the world get to see Jeremy's plays. A lot of people don't get to watch these games. And so it's great for them to be able to see the highlights. So we really appreciate the work that these guys do, and keep it up. It's awesome. There's so many fans of Jeremy's all over the world that get a real enjoyment out of being able to see these things, seeing these highlight videos. So tremendous work by all those guys. Okay, the next game is tomorrow night against the Utah Jazz in Salt Lake City, Utah. So that is on Saturday, November 2nd here in the United States at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. That is the third game of the 2013-2014 regular season. The game will take place Sunday, November 3rd, 9 a.m. in Taipei, Taiwan. Thumbs up, thumbs down, your comments below. We encourage you to come and join the Conservative New Media Facebook group, which has over 2,500 members and counting. You will find information for that in the video description below the video player. You'll also find information about our CNM JLin Vids Twitter account for these videos that we make about Jeremy. And we will include information about game highlights, the box score of the game, and a game story in the video description as well. Once again, I am Paul at Villarreal, PFV, the NBA expert. Thanks a lot for watching Conservative New Media. We strive to be the #1 Jeremy Lin YouTube fan channel. Look, great win by the team. Jeremy played hard. He played well, mostly. And he fought through his mistakes. And he played great defense. If he wants to get more playing time, he needs to play good defense. He definitely did that tonight. Now just work on the turnovers. And the simple way of working on the turnovers, don't force things that aren't there. Jeremy needs to be aggressive. That's how he plays at his best. But don't try to do things you can't do or make plays that aren't there to be made. And he's doing fine. He played well overall tonight. So it's on to the next game. I expect Jeremy, hopefully he will cut down his turnovers tomorrow, and I expect that to be the case as he continues to correct himself and learn from his hardships as well as his successes. So that is it for now. I hope you all have a great night or great day wherever you are around the world when you watch this video. Take care. We will talk to you again soon.